Oh, good morning, guys. How are you guys doing? You guys ready for the AMA? And let me know if you can hear me in the comments. Can you guys hear me? Are we live? Are we live? Morning. Morning, Alex. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining. I appreciate you coming out for the AMA. And first, I just wanted to, I'm going to post this afterwards. So I just want to make sure that everyone knows I don't receive any compensation from the projects I do. Channel is currently completely self-funded. I never plan to take any promotions. I do hold a position in OGPU, so I do have a bias to this project, but my investment is completely at will, not tied to any performance metrics, anything like that, and just do it because I'm interested in this project. And these are my opinions. My opinions are my opinions alone. So we're going to start off with a quick interview. I'm going to ask the co-founder a couple of questions, and then he's going to announce a competition, the next OGPU competition, which will be exciting. I don't know what it is, so I'm going to learn this too, and then we'll go through the chat and answer your guys' questions you have for the co-founders. So let me bring him in real quick. Hey, are you there?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Am I audible?
I got you.
Cool.
1 second. Let me turn up my volume because I got some weird green thing going on. But in the meantime, did you hear the format there that I laid out?
You mean with the questions?
Yeah, we'll do the questions first, then you can announce the competition, and then we'll do
sounds good. I'm gonna be sipping on tea because I'm still recovering from after the consensus travels. I caught the good old Texas virus, and for the past few days I've just been just coughing and sick. Yeah, so I'm recovering now. So for this AMA, I'm gonna power through it, and we're gonna answer some good questions.
Good deal. All right, I can't figure that out, so we'll just roll as it is. I can still hear you. Awesome. Well, we'll kick it off here. So OGPU is a layer 1 DeepIn project. They've got a decentralized GPU network, and I'm just curious if you could give us, I'm going to call you co-founder for short here, if you could give us a brief summary of what it is that you do, and like what you're really trying to accomplish with the project.
Oh, by the way, I think the audio is probably on my side because I'm using a mic, and it always does this to me where I'm using a Yeti mic and it automatically starts to modify the input game without my approval. So give me 1 second. I'm just gonna go run and grab my my mic and.
Gotcha. I mean, sounds like they can hear you, but we'll wait for you. There we go. There's the volume. In the meantime, guys, you can, if you've got questions for the co-founder, you can start throwing them in the chat, and I'll go through them. But if they come up as we're doing the questions, that's totally fine too.
All right. I do my own podcast as well. So when you do it live, expect technical difficulties.
We're doing it live. Now, I've never done this before, having somebody else on here. So, co-founder, can you see the questions in the chat, or is that just on my screen? doesn't have the mic on right now.
Hello?
Hey, gotcha.
I think I only see. I don't see the questions. I think that's only on. That's only. All right. So I have my mic on now. Is it a lot better?
I gotcha. Just as good as before.
Oh, is it quiet or is it a little bit louder?
I think it's slightly louder, but my audio also sucks on the speaker side. So
All right. Well, let's get rolling. So the first question, let's hit it off. We'll try to go a little bit quick, so I guess we can give the community a chance to ask questions in the chat.
awesome. Sounds good. So the first question is, can you just give us a brief summary of what OGPU is, and also like what, more importantly, like what you guys are trying to accomplish with the project?
Well, the short synopsis about OpenGPU is we're a decentralized version of AWS, but imagine AWS on a blockchain. And our aim there is to then create a distributed network of GPUs across the globe with a decentralized structure, right? Hence the DePIN aspect, where we allow daily users to earn money from GPU tasks, right? Instead of a centralized company like AWS centralizing all their funds to trillions of dollars into one place. This can actually enable new sorts of markets, which is like super awesome, actually. And I'll get back to this in a second. But the decentralized GPU network, or I guess the blockchain, is basically our open GPU chain, right? So we run basically the computational side and the GPU side at the same time. So this provides us with true scalability and trustless solutions, which is really cool because there's a VC called Variant. They wrote an article about why they believe marketplaces are the future, but like evolving marketplaces. And we see that when like currently right now, right, there's limitations in our marketplaces. Like, some people might not, deliver, I don't know, meet up somewhere for a peer-to-peer transaction of trading iPhone for cash, right? Or, it's kind of this sort of thing. And in different marketplaces, when you provide more efficiency, cost savings, scalability, or whatever, you enable new innovation to take place, right? And that's basically what we're doing at OpenGPU. Is that if you look at AWS, is like, you're trusting AWS to complete these solutions for you, and they only have so much scalability because they require thousands of, like, billions of R&D or investment for their servers. So we're seeing here that with OpenGPU, because we're using new technology to innovate for, in a trustless experience, or we're innovating in the actual, like, removing the old P2P kind of side, right? There's no renting or whatever, really improving efficiency. We're seeing that there's a whole new market that can actually come to fruition, and we have no clue what that future will look like, actually, right? Because look at AWS; they put together from a lot, like 20 years ago, startups having to, like, buy their own servers, and no one trusted, obviously, sharing their servers with anybody. They then innovated a new infrastructure where they put together a shit ton of servers. Now they figured out how to scale and provide efficiency to kind of stream it to other people, right? That created hundreds of millions of businesses around the world. We're not taking it on the next step above, right? Which is like, hey, we have now a completely infinite scalable infrastructure, completely trustless, high efficiency because there's no renting, right? It's just straight, very quick, I guess the orchestration of all this computational power to anybody in the world. And as well, we're distributing the rewards, everything. So you can kind of see now where the vision is going. And and what actually it'll unlock into the future. So I guess that's I won't go too far. I'll try to short my answers, but yeah.
Well, that's good. I think that that's some additional information to what you provided in some of the previous AMAs. It seems like the uh, the idea is kind of evolving, right? And is that what you mean by enabling new markets? Is just if you look at, for example, like AWS's evolution, they started with a very simple structure, right? With I believe it was just kind of GPU style
Yeah.
and server computation power. But is that what you mean? Kind of like the products will take shape as the market evolves.
Exactly. Yes. So I mean, they had a very yes. So the first thing they had at AWS was, well, they were selling shoes and books and whatever, right? And obviously through AWS's management style, they have a thing where it's like they do things if no one has the ability to say no to. And like one of their developers said, "Why don't we create our own server so we can sell to other
Mhm.
people and power ourselves?" And they're like, "Okay, cool." And then from there, they started off with just servers because they're powering their website and other people's websites,
Mhm.
right? And
Yeah.
then what happened from there was like, wow, we were creating a very efficient model, and it's a great investment. And then they started to scale out, and now they do everything. So if you ever open up a AWS, they have every single tooling that you can build a whole startup on, like literally the whole infrastructure. So it's not just servers now; they provide a lot of different things. And so the same thing with OpenGPU is like we're going to be launching our validator soon, right? This allows us to do our initial value prop, which is users adding on their GPUs, providing value to AI startups, right? And then as well, we're then going to start moving into different feature sets so that it can literally scale out to a whole AI startup, every single function of AI startup. From there, it can just go into like as well functioning for any type of traditional. I mean, right away, obviously functioning for a lot of traditional businesses, and then yada yada, right? The future is kind of you don't know what it holds. AWS didn't know that as well, but the thing
Yeah. Yeah.
is, though, we have, and what we're looking to do is build a future-proof product so that we have the foundation. We just need to continue to build on top.
Yeah. No, that sounds good. It sounds like there's a market need right now for GPU computation, and you guys see that, and but you understand that business evolves, so
Yes.
you're kind of. It seems to me what that means is that you guys are developing a product that can is flexible enough that you guys can adapt to future market needs.
Yeah, I mean it's a future technology, right? So we're going to have future. We're seeing right now in the Web3 space, the AI space. Honestly, like the world is like uncomprehensible with what the new technology can do. So we just need to prepare ourselves with an infrastructure that could scale on the blockchain side, because on-chain experience literally like transcends like consciousness. It's really crazy, um,
Yeah.
and then the AI side as well, like transcends like consciousness, right? So I don't know, it's quite crazy. So anyways, that's other than that. But like we want to make sure that we have the infrastructure to provide that, and we believe that's going to be a multi-trillion-dollar industry, right? So
It's definitely a big industry. I think consciousness is another live stream, but we'll move
exactly,
on to the next question here. I think one of the things I saw early on in OGPU was kind of the way you guys were approaching the problem, and it kind of differentiated you from a lot of the other, if not all the other GPU projects and deep in GPU projects out there. Can you kind of speak on that? Like, what is different? What is the differentiator? Because there's a lot of projects out there. So, as a
yeah.
new project with established competition, how do you guys stand out?
Yeah, I mean, I guess like the one thing that's like the most obvious for us right now is is our unique structure, right? So if you do tend to look at a lot of the deep in solutions, they are using an old P2P system, right? Which means that they actually use an AWS or something like that, and the AWS actually manages and streamlines all the connections taking place between one GPU and another. And because they're using these kind of these systems, they tend to choose a rent per hour, right, or something like this. OpenGPU's infrastructure, right, is actually all connected and like streamlined through the blockchain, right? So we have no set point of, I guess, centralized experience on that. So we're actually a true DPIN. A lot of people call themselves DPIN, but the whole backend is literally just Web 2. And the front end is just a payment rail, right?
Mhm.
So that is like where there's a clear differentiator for us, and that a lot of them, right, because they're renting and etc., they're task based. So you pay for um, when we're task based, right, which means that you only pay for what you use. You don't choose a GPU. You don't need to deal with hourly renting. You just propose your GPU task, right? And our chain basically handles the rest. So that basically at the end, for the bottom line, you're going to have it cheaper, you're going to have it faster, and you're going to have it easier. Also, as well, if we want to follow the AWS motto, is that we don't focus at all on what our competitors do, right? And this is a clear, I guess, reflection of what we're building. If you look at all the top players, they look at each other, right, as competition, and you'll see that they actually then copy each other, right?
Mhm.
We just wanted to look to the world and say, hey, can we provide technology right now that solves a problem and makes it easier for AI customers, right? AI businesses, because at the end of the day, there are customers, right? So we basically had insight on AI startups. We had insights on blockchain technology. We had insights on distributed, I don't know, GPUs and stuff like that. And that's how we then, um, I guess, envisioned a world that would that would solve our own problems. Like, hey, what if we were to run our own our AI startup, and like we were to go out and do X, Y, and Z? Like, what would be amazing for us? Oh wow, like a really great experience for I'm lazy. I just want to put my stuff here that needs to be done, connected in 15 minutes, and it's done for me. And that's why you see that actually come up as a product for us. Is that we just I guess I don't want to be cheesy and say we just obsess about the customer, right? Like you can see our team's quite obsessive when it comes to the community or whatever. Is that we just want to provide a damn good product for what's to come, and we don't really care what our competitors are going to do, right? Actually, our competitors are going to be looking to us to copy, right? They're going once they see Open GPU in the space, they're like, holy shit, how do we copy that?
Yeah.
And you'll start to see that actually. So
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty common, right? Copying your competitors, especially if they've got innovative tech. Um, so it sounds like UI benefits, ease of use, and then in the long run, and then is there any sort of like quantification you can put on efficiency at this point in the stage that customers can see?
I mean, that's probably a question that I would ask the founder. I'll give you a spitball number though. I'll probably say 30 to 25% efficiency. So, for example, to give you an example of
In like
this,
cost?
in cost, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
so there's two efficiency sides here, right? It's so
Sure.
if I'm running $1 million of services, and that means that $1 million might equal, I don't know, 2,000 VRAM or all these specific specs, right?
Sure. Hmm.
I have to basically spin up, and one GPU I spin up maybe has maybe 100 VRAM or whatever, right? That means I got to spin up 21 or 25. Um, and so sometimes your solution might scale up and down and kind of fluctuate 20 to 30%. And so, but the thing is, it doesn't matter. You're going to always need 25 GPUs running at that same point. You might not use all of them.
Hmm.
See how there's a little bit of margin actually paying for something that you don't need to be paying for. And so when you run this at a scale of a million or hundred thousands, that 20-30% margin of things that you don't actually need to be running 24/7, that could be 20 to even 40% cost margin. It just depends on your business actually, right? So if your business is not doing a lot of things like at this moment of time, you're still renting, right, per
Yeah.
hour, which means you're losing funds. Whereas for us, it literally just just scales on demand. So you're actually providing you the maximum 99% efficiency. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes it much more clear. No, I appreciate it. And then one other piece that I think is important to the kind of your position in the market is the proprietary code, or like being able to keep the customer's code proprietary. So, is there like, can you talk to that in a
Oh,
little more detail? You don't have to go
sorry, say that again. I was reading. I was
like,
reading the comments.
oh no, yeah, you're good. You know how like I think the founders talked about this a couple times, but how a company who needs AI training or inference, they can. Sorry, I'm not super familiar with how it's done mechanically, but basically their code would have to be, open sourced, or given to the computing, the GPU, right? So that they would basically revealing their source code. And for some projects, OpenAI is the biggest example. Their code's proprietary; they don't want to give that out. What in the structure of your guys's project allows that code to stay proprietary and basically not given to the end GPU?
Yeah. Shit. I think I had this written down somewhere because this is a founder question because it is quite a technical question. Um,
Yeah, I might have got a little more technical than I meant to there, but
yeah. No, I only handle mostly operations and product side, but that one is more that one. I'm not sure if that's one's covered in the white paper. Um, but I think it's more so because of so with peer to peer GPUs, you're actually sending um, I think maybe your source code into a specific. Um, yeah, and at the moment I don't want to mess that one up. We can probably pin that one afterwards. I'm not sure if the
sure.
1 second. Let me see if the founder. Oh, okay, 1 second here. Well, I mean, so when it comes to the private side, the team has built private L1 chains for banks, and they worked on ZK proof L1s for governments.
Gotcha.
So um, I'm assuming that it's because they've worked on zero proof knowledge stuff.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah, so it's mostly ZK proof stuff. That's the reason why
Got it.
that's why your source code is
That makes sense, because he did talk about that early on in the Telegram. I think it was linked, and I did read through that. So
oh, okay,
that
yeah,
makes sense that that's linked to the processing of that customer information, right? The customer code. So
yeah.
anyway, that was kind of a curveball, but let's see. We'll try to move on so we get to some of the competition and some of these questions.
Yeah.
You've got a test net coming out in June, and I was curious what the functionality of the test net will have, because I know there was some talk about being able to actually do some computation on the test net, and I think that would be interesting if you do have that functionality. But just curious what kind of functionality you'll have at that point.
Yeah, with testnet, so we expect it to come. It could come in June or early July. It'll have true functionality of basically people being able to connect and start trying to, become beta users in being a provider, right, to the chain. Um,
Mm-hmm.
they can start basically creating GPU tasks. Here we'll mostly be obviously running the beta testing before we launch a chain, right? So you will be testing for scalability, latency, effectiveness of the network to prepare the mainnets. I don't have clear feature sets. I'll probably be able to tell you for it to work that what it'll come with, but mostly it's mostly just going to be a beta
Okay.
process. So it'll basically show that basically prove right now it's working quite smoothly. But when we launch it, you'll just be able to see, hey, okay, cool, this validator works. I see how the task actually can be validated by the chain, yada yada yada, right? And then if all that goes smoothly, then mainnet should be smooth as well. So
Got it. Got it. I had this question here for uh, about the layer one. You pretty much covered most of it.
Mhm.
Do you have any targeting as far as like
I'm not sure if
speed or other things?
for the speed. I think someone's lagging. I'm not sure if I'm the one lagging or you're the one lagging.
It could be me. It could be me.
I don't know, I think the speed of the chain was 1 to 3 seconds per block or something like that. Am I correct there?
Let's see.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I gotcha. Sorry, I was just taking notes.
Yeah. When
Yeah,
people were playing
that's
with
all.
when people were playing with the that DevNet, what were the block speeds going for those transactions? Like a second? We-
I'm not sure. I personally didn't look into it, to be honest.
Anyone in the chat playing with the?
I think
Oh, okay, so it's five. They do weird. Yeah, so the block speed
somebody
is
said they're doing
1 second. So we do 5,000 transactions per second.
got it.
Yeah. So I wasn't sure if it was a second or 2 seconds, but yeah. So it's
That's what I was.
5,000.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. That was my question. Okay. And then I wanted to hear a little bit about OpenDex. And what you got,
Yeah.
what inspired you guys to develop it, and how
Yeah.
it would, kind of like what problem it solves in blockchain, right? Because I think it's
Sure.
a novel idea. Um,
So I mean,
I'm just curious, like a little more details on how that solves problems,
yeah.
like
So
the problem it solves.
OpenDex is like for us, it's just a side project, right? So like the main project for an OpenGPU is obviously the chain. Um, so we created OpenDex basically like as our own like just capstone project to be a testing ground for the chain, right? And so basically, like by using that Dex, you were able to actually see a shit ton of transactions go through in a second or two, right? It just shows the capability of the chain because obviously Dex can push the limits for that. So as a person that our team that we come from smart contract auditing and security sector, right, there's a lot of flaws that come from DeFi as well. So to solve these problems, a few of the problems, or just kind of like play around with the problems, or even set a new stage or conversation for people, we started to then create the OpenDex and allow it to have like kind of like a governance based election, so that projects that want to launch on that Dex, right, there's a filtering process, and then we allow the community, kind of like a collective mind, to eliminate scam projects as much as possible. So this is just a hypothesis, right? This is just a thesis. So mostly the OpenGPU project was made just to test the viability of the chain, and maybe as well down the road. Like we're not going to
Mhm.
actually like be monetizing it or anything like that. Like it's just kind of like a cool thing. We actually probably intend for external um, parties to probably fork it and take it farther than we ever could. Right. So like we're not in the DEX business. We just wanted to, hey, we'll build a DEX. If you guys, because obviously in every chain there's going to be obviously some
Gotcha.
DeFi stuff going on. If you guys want to come in, be the next Uniswap on OpenDex, like here we got this whole thing built out, custom made just for you, free business. Now it's open market.
That's interesting. I'm excited to see kind of what that looks like. But sounds like it's a longer
Yeah,
term,
well, because
project, but also
if you
benefits
look at
your guys' development.
yeah, like if you look at Uniswap, literally every single DEX is a fork of Uniswap, right? So, um, I think we just wanted
Hmm.
to try to play around with some innovation. If it solves a problem and people start forking it in Open GPU, like that's a great outcome for us. So, two birds in one stone.
Awesome. Well, I got two more questions for you here, and we'll get to the competition announcement and then AMA.
Yes.
So you guys recently announced something like potential VC funding at some point. You've said in the Telegram chat publicly that you're looking to it, it's got to make sense, right, for you guys since you. But like, how can you talk like a little more about how? Because like VC is kind of like it's kind of like a term, and there's lots of different ways to take funding from VCs. So can you kind of talk like how it would benefit, not only you guys develop the project, but how that would benefit investors as well?
Yeah. So, I mean, that post is it's not like VC funding is not a priority for us. We announced that for mainnet launch, if we want to go with a centralized exchange, um, we would need obviously additional funding because obviously to list on a Bybit or something like that, it's like over $1 million. But if we focus on our own chain, we can as well still achieve success without any VC, right? So there's kind of like two paths you go down. It's you go down the VC path because you're going to be burning a lot of money very quickly to achieve rapid succession of growth. But obviously, there's compromise in terms of you're going to be giving a portion of the tokens for them, obviously vested. But then obviously there's the path of the community, which is the one we took, which is like you stealth launch, you grow organically, but like obviously like we start from like
Mm-hmm.
ground zero, right? Like we don't have millions of dollars, and we're building now with tax money to kind of do what we want to do. Um, so there's pros and cons, right? So the team is right now weighing both of those. If we do want to go the sex side, like we're going to need to have a lot bigger community, um, because at the end of the day, right, sexists want community because it provides them a business model for them to make money on. Um, and so what that would look like, um, as I mentioned before, but like right now we have no clear plan to do that right now. Like we have VCs interested in open decks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but we haven't really entertained any like serious conversations because right now like if yeah, we haven't really entertained any serious conversations. So we don't really know the right step to take yet, right? And we don't want to make the wrong step. So at the moment, we're quite neutral on it. We're just building the product, ramping up our own in-house marketing, going to market with the product, proving that our product has real product market fit, which is obviously coming up with the validator app. Because at the end of the day, right, all our team cares about is solving a problem. We're not trying. I know the investors care about obviously getting to the 1 billion mark, which obviously if you go down the VC path and the centralized exchange path, he's like, okay, cool, yeah, you're going to get, we can get there, probably quicker or whatever. But obviously the community will have to take a sacrifice in terms of um, the and this is where like some complicated math kind of comes in place because like we're gonna have to like you kind of have to obviously dilute this token supply, but like doing it in a
Mm-hmm.
way that people don't lose money and the FDV obviously increases to a point where the VC can get in, right? So there's some math that needs to get, I haven't really sat down like did the real math for it because like I said we're not I'm really serious into it yet. But that's kind of what it would look like, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So it sounds like it's a trigger you guys could pull in the future. probably closer to or after mainnet launch?
I mean, it depends. I mean, so like, and that's why I said. So if we do come down to that decision, we'll definitely like obviously have another AMA, and we can talk with our community, because basically our community are basically our shareholders, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a shareholders meeting. We're sending you guys. I forgot what it's called. I guess it's like a shareholders memorandum or something like that. This is
Yeah,
what
yeah,
this
yeah,
is what
yeah.
our
That's it.
this is what we're going to decide to do, guys. This is why it's going to be good. So, yeah, we'll do something like that when we actually have serious considerations to do so.
Yeah. No, that sounds good. That you would. It sounds like you would involve the community if you guys did cross that bridge. So
Yeah.
that's good. Good to know. Thanks for clearing that up as much as you can. I know it's like it's a very convoluted process.
Oh, I know. I mean, it's a very tedious. It's as I'm saying, it's a hard conversation. You know, what I mean, we got 2,000 plus holders, right?
Yeah.
And so they all want to know what's going on. We can't just make a decision, and
Right.
I
Maybe
don't know
that's a product idea in the future, right? So anyway,
what do you mean?
communicating with
Okay.
all your token holders, right? So
Oh
anyway,
yeah.
but conversation for another day. So we'll get to this last question quick, so we can get the rest of it. But a very simple one: what's the best way? If people are watching this for the first time, what's the best way for people to learn more about your project and engage in the community?
So the best way to learn more about the project is obviously like the first two AMAs. I kind of go more in detail. Like one of the questions, the orchestration layer. And the reason why we call it the orchestration layer, it sounds weird, but like just think about a symphony. You know what I mean? It's like an orchestra, right? There's a lot of crazy shit going on, and there's like one person kind of just like waving the wand and kind of making sure that the symphony of the music sounds beautiful. And that's exactly the same way that we want computation to feel, right? Like beautiful, like a symphony. So it's basically, you can think about trumpet as like doing like rendering. You can see the saxophone doing some type of AI processing. Like all these different type of processing stuff is going on like at the same time. And we basically make sure that the GPUs like kind of like attune and kind of attend to all of these solutions very beautifully for the end user, right? Which is the person listening to the music. So it sounds beautiful. It's easy for you. You just sit back and enjoy. So that's kind of like the non-technical explanation of the orchestration layer. But yeah, so like definitely, obviously reading a white paper is not the easiest. It's quite long. Copy and paste it, control command or whatever and put it into a white chat GPT, simplify this for me. But yeah, I would say the AMAs and the white paper. Or as well, you can go directly into the Telegram, because obviously we have like a lot of mods, a lot of active members. The founders often spends his his R&R in there, and we're quite open to the technical questions, or you get better technical questions coming from the Telegram than probably me.
Sounds good. Well, that's all I had for questions. Do you want to announce this competition that
Yeah.
you guys
So
have coming up?
sounds good. Yeah. So we have
Then we'll get
so
into questions.
with the open decks, we will actually have a competition come live. I think this week we have confirmation on that. So this is going to be an ORC20 based meme coin competition. All right. So that means that people can create meme coins with one click. The coin that reaches the highest market cap at the end of 1 week will be the winner. So the fun is the developer of this token, and I guess its top 10 holders will also as well receive a big prize. So
Nice.
people need to just I guess invest in the best meme coin culture or whatever. And so like open season for the meme coins. So basically, the top 10 developer and the top 10 holders will get a prize from that. So this creates a real kind of economic situation. So this is not like real money because it's obviously going to be on a DevNet, right? But this will create the real economic simulation on our DevNet, and how it'll be very fun to play, very fast, similar to Solana, probably even faster than Solana. No downtime as well, no outages going on, So then, because obviously, meme coins are tokenized culture. And a lot of businesses use them as a go-to-market strategy because people just start hearing, and we could have a lot of AI memes or something like this. I don't know, like that could be our MO, but we'll let the community kind of figure that out. But I think it'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
So it sounds. I mean, I'm not a meme coin guy, so somebody else is going to win this competition. But
Yeah,
it sounds fun. It sounds like
yeah,
participates not only the creator gets some benefit, but also the community who picks the because you kind of have to pick the top coin early, and then in that case right, because if you're a holder, you could also win, but you got to figure out like what
yeah,
the subject is or what the
yeah.
theme is that's going to do best.
Yeah, so I mean, and there's an objective here as well. It's not just to like launch a meme coin. It's that we actually get to test. Like I said, we're going through a beta phase right now. We're testing our validator app. We're testing the chain, right? So by doing such competition, we expect maybe thousands of transactions, and here you'll be able to see, oh wow, we're getting 5,000 transactions per second, and it's being proven, right? And then basically the validators are going to be powering that test net. So then this basically then helps us ensure that our mainnet is going to be running smoothly as well. So and yeah. So who knows? I mean, participation in the DevNet could have other rewards down the road, right? You never know. All of it gets saved to your wallet address, so we can snapshot it, and down the road there
Participate. They should.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I think I talked over you. But if people want to participate, they should go start getting DevNet tokens in the faucet.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure that I think the community is too.
Yeah. Well, some tips to make a great meme coin is to tokenize culture. So that means if there's like a meme with anything related to a GPU, to AI, to um, what's his name, Jeff Bezos, AWS, like you kind of tokenize a lot of cool things. I mean, not the culture of it. I don't know if anyone's going to go far enough to actually spin up their own website, use a framer, use a Wix, or start a Twitter account. There's lots of ways to run meme coins, right? But yeah, that's how I would go about it. I build all the. OpenGPU's website isn't built, although I do tend to build it again on Framer. But that's a great website builder.
Wow, this is intense. So interested to see the websites that people build for this competition. That's
Yeah, I mean, I would be surprised if someone goes so far, but I mean, we did have somebody repaint a bike in OpenGPU, which is like
that's true. Yeah,
I'm unsure if that's a real, like, if that's their personal bike or if it's a city bike. Honestly, I don't know.
I heard rumors that there were a couple bikes.
Yeah, to me, they looked like they were like city rental e-bikes. So I'm like,
right?
Are we gonna get an email from a city like,
Yeah.
what are you guys doing to our bikes?
Right. That was wild. That just goes to the you got a community though, so I think that's good for the project, right? So
yeah,
people like the brand already. So well, good deal. Is there anything else about the competition you wanted to discuss?
Um, no, I mean generally that's it. Like our objective of the competition is we're going to give away a pretty significant prize to the dev who creates the best meme coin, and like this meme coin could be carried into the mainnet, right? So that there's a lot of there's some financial opportunities there. Imagine being the official meme coin of OpenGPU. Um, could be quite significant. You never know. I don't know. Um,
That'd be pretty
and
cool to get bridged over to mainnet if you have the
Exactly, and
top
no,
meme.
it would be, yeah. I mean that would be top me. And the thing is, if you already created a community, the community might ape in when the actual mainnet might launch, right? That could be, and it'll obviously will have official support from OpenGPU. We'll go through the process. Obviously, OpenDex is designed for no rugs. Like, should be a safe experience for you. Kind of hitting everything that in our ethos. Um, and at the same time, what we get from it is, hey, if we're getting like 20,000 transactions per second, if we ever do hit that, we can or more than 5,000 transactions per second, we can prove that, which is amazing for us. um, and that kind of like really like show the community that, hey, we put where our money where our mouth is. um, yeah, that would be a great outcome for both of us. But yeah, we can as well open up the if you want to like pick out a few questions from the comments, because I know there's a lot of people
Yes,
some
for, sh-
comments there.
for sure. Real quick, the start date for the competition will be announced in the Telegram, I assume,
Yes, yeah.
and
So
probably Twitter as well.
yeah. So you'll hear about that. Today's Monday, so there will be an announcement this week.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
All right, we'll pick out some questions here. Uh, I'll go scroll up to the top here. Oh, okay, I got this one. I think it's been addressed in Telegram, but real quick, it was something about the white paper being written in Chat GPT. I think is a pretty clear answer that I read. I know if you want to address that real quick.
Um, yeah. So I mean, I think if the white paper was written in ChatGPT, it would be only to fix grammar, right? So it's writing a grammar is not my strong suit. I don't think it's many developers' strong suits. You know, so yeah, if the white paper was written in ChatGPT, is probably because we went through it and used probably like fixed grammar, so it doesn't sound like we're bad at grammar. Um, yeah.
No, that's good. Appreciate it. And then one question that's been coming up for P. Lee is just about anonymity and why you guys are anonymous at this point, and if you could expand to like the plans of doxing and what the entire like the whole process looks like, I think that would answer a bunch of questions in the chat here.
Oh, also apparently as well, I just got an update is that the white paper currently is actually a simplified version. um, there will actually be the original or full version white paper with the mainnet launch. So it'll have significantly more details inside of it.
Got it. Yeah, for what I heard, that was to kind of obfuscate the tech to kind of prevent competition from having a head start trying to copy what you guys do.
Yeah. So
awesome. Yeah, could you go over like the kind of the doxing process, what it looks like, and kind of why you guys are anonymous right at this point?
yeah. So initially, the founder, when he first started the business, so I mentioned this in the first AMA that this was a capstone project. So the conceptualization, everything happened around, I think around it was like 2017. Product wasn't like built in 2017. The conceptualization happened in 2017 while in university, right? Then obviously, I think since a year ago, right, like or two years ago, like we started to see a lot more infrastructure, decentralized infrastructure plays come up, Helium and etc. Um, And so this kind of prompted the founder to kind of actually start development of this because the technology was now available. Although during that time, obviously, when you're actually fully employed, you're working full time for either he was working at a bank or just like in any type of job, right? You're not specifically allowed to work on side projects or start a business. With banks, if you're building your own stuff, specifically specifically in banks or whatever, other than the fact that he did work for banks and building private blockchains, is that you can actually get onto like kind of a lot of legal problems for this, right? Because like if you're working at a bank, they can actually penalize you and take your 12-month salary from you.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, yeah. So like and a lot of companies do this. A lot of tech companies, you'll have contracts where it's like actually if you work on the tech if you work on company computer on third party work, right, they actually own source code, or as well if they figure out that you've been working like in while you're working there, if they figure out that you're working with somebody,
Yeah,
they'll
it depends on jurisdiction, right? Yeah, because
exactly, yeah.
California's had some cases where it's kind of gone the other way, but it totally depends where you are, right?
Yeah, so that's the risk that he imposed. So obviously, Jury, when he was building it, he was like, I'm going to say anonymous while building it, so we can kind of avoid that. Obviously, now he's left that job, so now we're kind of like out of the clear for it. We're all that legal is getting set up now as well, like redone with the new infrastructure with the Singapore dev shop and then the foundations and the Cayman Islands, etc. Which is why now like we can go docs anytime, and which is why we're like, hey, let's just let's continue it, and then we'll I guess follow through with our mainnet doxing, right? I mean, I got no problem doxing. I've already doxed myself to you, so
Yeah.
I got no problem. I mean, I have a pretty good background, so it's mostly just that we said we were going to do it mainnets. We'll continue to mainnets, and yeah.
Well, that's some new information. So you heard it here first, guys. Co-founder opened up. Let's see. I've got one of the other questions that came up, and I don't know if you can directly answer this, especially since you're so early in the process of building. But I'm trying to find it so I can post it. But it was basically, what are the minimum requirements for the? There it is. What are the minimum requirements for GPUs? I assume AMD and the be supported.
I'm not on this question. I'm not 100% sure. I think I think right now it is. So we use all type of GPUs, right? Because obviously in the orchestration layer we assigned, for example, in the tier 1, 2, 3, each specific tasks has different different requirements, right? So we then obviously we basically chop it all up and then kind of put where it needs to be done. So it's not like there needs to be specific requirement. Obviously, having the obviously better specs, like you're going to have a better experience. I think we are focused for NVIDIA first.
Okay.
I'm not sure about AMD, but like there's no difference. It just means that we need to build infrastructure because there's two different infrastructures for AMD and NVIDIA, right? So
Gotcha.
most solutions do use the NVIDIA first, obviously because NVIDIA has the best, best GPUs for AI, I believe.
Yep.
AMD is obviously a bit available as well, but it depends on the if the infrastructure is available for us to do so. And it could be done. I don't know that specific technical question, so that could be another one that the founder can post in the. Well, I mean, a quick one to see is if yeah, so the founder can post that in the Telegram afterwards if we do accept AMD. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, Alex, if you have a specific question on GPUs, any technical questions, I'd recommend throwing those in the Telegram. The founder.
Yeah, because AMD and GPUs and NVIDIA GPUs have two completely different processes. You would not be able to use infrastructure on NVIDIA versus AMD, so you need two specific instances for those.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Telnet answered or asked if leading GPUs would be offered. I
Oh
think
yeah,
that's
100%. I mean, we're talking to people right now that had like I talked to one dude. I'm not sure. It wasn't a 1,000, but I talked to one guy who had, I think it was either 40,000 or 400,000 BC 160s.
Jeez.
Oh yeah, he was a whale. Like we've been taught, like we obviously we're a GPU network L1. Like literally, we get DMs from people who have like server farms, like $50 million server farms, right? Although like they're most of them are Bitcoin ones and stuff like that, right? Because there's a lot of those ones. But we do obviously, like, as we get bigger, you have demand, supply is going to follow, right? And right now, cryptocurrency has not so much money anymore. I mean, for mining. Um,
Yep.
not all, yeah. So a lot of them are going to try to transition to find opportunities that have better rewards, and that will actually then become OpenGPU. Actually, we had a conversation about this, and obviously not all of our investors are going to become the holders. So what makes OpenGPU? We have 21 million tokens, right? What makes OpenGPU going to be like if we ever were a $1 billion market cap? Who's going to be holding the tokens? And we were having a debate here, and I was like, I don't believe it's going to be the investors holding the tokens. It's going to be these huge freaking server whales that
Yeah.
have 50,000, 100,000, 1,000s, 86,000s, and they're gonna host their servers because we'll just spin them up whenever we need them, and the whales are going to be owning the tokens and competing against each other because they're going to own the whole supply, right? Because they got 1,000 GPUs and they want to compete them, so they need to stake more OGPUs to put their servers to work. And so, like, you can kind of see how quickly here, whereas I believe more than 51% of the tokens are going to be owned, or maybe even 75% of the tokens are going to be owned by server whales, right?
Yeah, so I think that's one piece that isn't really discussed much, and I haven't talked about it much either, but is pretty important. Is that it's a true, you guys are building a true utility project, and where the token is actually used
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
to complete tasks on the network. So
Oh,
that
yeah.
makes makes the token even less or even more scarce. Very similar to like
Exactly. Yeah.
some of
Yeah.
the
So,
other
like,
utility projects that benefit from scarcity of the token because it's used in the for the actual like network, like true utility token, right?
yeah.
So
So, I
cool.
mean, I believe that's gonna be freaking awesome because all the tokens are going to be like literally gobbled up, and
Yep.
then hoarded by the server farms because once we have so it's basic accounting. We got $100 million worth of volume, like true cash, going through our services into the OGPU chain. We don't make money from it, right? Um, the end users, because remember we're providing unlimited scalability, right? So
Mhm.
we have $100 million every month going through OpenGPU chain, and it ends up to the GPUs, right? And so that's constant value, and we have a lot of plans down the road where we want to be the place where the next 1,000 billion-dollar AI startups show up. Sam Altman said this. There's going to be a one-person billion-dollar startups, right? And that's going to happen on OpenGPU. Then, as well, once that happens, so you're going to have an influx of cash, and who's going to go to? You're going to get all these huge whales. They're going to grab up the tokens. They're going to connect to GPUs, and they're just going to be earning. That's it, right? So, yeah, I mean, right now um, for us right now, I mean, we're still very early in the space. So like for us, I'm looking at the chart every day. I'm like, it's fun to look at it, but like, volatility at like a $5 to $50 million market cap is like obviously going to go up and down, but like, we're going to be like at a higher level, like a $50 million market cap volatility is what's going to be happening on like an hourly or a 4-hour chart.
Yeah, I think there's a little foreshadowing there too, right? Where like smaller AI companies will need to get started with a cheaper solution,
Exactly. Yeah.
and eventually percentage of those will be unicorns, and this is a good platform for them to get started on, right? Especially if you have
Yep.
like an AWS type model that makes it cheaper and easier for these startups to get started, right?
Yep.
So I know we're kind of at our time here. Do you got a couple more minutes to answer a couple more questions, or just let me know?
Yeah, I got a couple more minutes.
Okay. Let's see. There's this question about that's a long answer, so I'm not gonna very broad about B2B stuff. Brief experience about maybe you could just say brief experience about your guys' team, because I know you have experience, since there are questions about that.
Yeah.
What you guys have done.
I think I mentioned earlier, so I mean, on the technical team side, so the founder's more technical guy, right? So he's developer. Most of the team's developer is run by developers. So the founder's like expert in smart contracts, EVM, L1 chains, right? Because that's what he basically built in the career. The team as well is like expert in the Solana chain, which then obviously allows us to build very fast and cheap experiences. And putting those together is how they designed and a faster and cheaper. So we want to be like the fastest and most affordable, but also while with the fast is the context of safe blockchain for AI and blockchain companies in the world. So they've built obviously many private L1 blockchains for banks, worked on ZK proof solutions for L1s for the government. And they're, the dev team as well has similar experiences. My experience comes more in building innovative solutions, go to markets, putting together good teams. I'm more on the product innovation side. So I guess it's a quick answer for that.
Yep. No, that's good. I think like my opinion on this, like how you're going to displace AWS. I mean, that's first of all something that never happens overnight, and then second of all, like you probably AWS, I don't think is going away, in my opinion.
Oh, for sure not. I mean, right now Web3, like cryptocurrency is the most advanced payment method in the world. It's only like 5% of user adoption, 5 to 7% of user adoption. The other 93% of the world still uses fiat, right? And probably I would say like some percentage of the world still uses not even fiat, uses like, I don't know, barter system, right? So there's always going to be a laggard and a lead, right? So we could start with a lead, grab a niche, right? And usually that niche with AI startups is, right now AI crypto startups are the niche. So we service that niche first, and then grow outwards from there.
No, that's I you see this play out tons of times in business before. So I'm just searching through the questions right now, but see if we've got any more here. But I got to give a shout out to James. Let's go. All right. Man, I don't see anything else here that's unique. We've got a lot of the same questions about doxing and whatnot, but I think you addressed those. So. Any last parting comments you got?
No, that's it for me. I'm very glad it wasn't like coughing through up the whole thing. Appreciate the great questions. Appreciate the comments in the chats. So if you want to meet the core team, we'll probably be located in Singapore and probably maybe the coming 6 months. I don't know. So you guys can meet us in Singapore, grab some food there. Okay. Yeah. So
I've always wanted to jump on an 18-hour flight.
So where are you located right now?
I'm out of Denver.
Oh, Denver. Okay, is it an 18-hour flight from?
Well, it's 18 from New York City, but I think there's one from San Francisco. It's only 15.
Yeah. Well,
I'll have to make the journey at some point.
Yeah, we'll have hackathons and stuff like that. Probably like once we get to that specific level, like we'd love to have hackathons all around the world, right? So, and our whole team will be there and working with everybody to build solutions on OpenGPU and trying to figure out what's like we're building the infra, right? But like the future innovation is going to come from developers, right? As the
Yeah.
as that guy says, developers, developers, developers.
Yeah, I mean that's how tech is built, right? I'm just a guy who likes business, so maybe y'all can teach me something.
Oh yeah, business is awesome.
It's fun stuff.
Yeah,
Well, thank you for joining. I really appreciate the detail that you went into and throwing this AMA together. Definitely learn more about the project, which I always love doing. Always love learning more about the businesses I'm invested in. So really appreciate the thought and time you put into it, and also the audience. Man, you guys are great. Thanks for asking those. Thanks for asking your questions,
yeah.
and maybe we'll see you again someday in the future.
All right. Well, without further ado, Kyle, appreciate your questions, your hospitality, and to the community sitting through and listening to us spew.
Absolutely appreciate it, guys. Have a great week, and hopefully we see altcoins go up.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well,
All
hopefully
right.
the validator and some marketing plans go up. But I'm more expecting once mainnet. So I don't even look at the chart honestly. But although it's pretty cool though, the first AMA and the second AMA, I did call the next leg up every single one. So
Well, I got my fingers crossed as an investor, but yeah, I mean, the most important thing to me is watching you guys develop and throw out the tech, and that's what I'm mostly focused on. So
yeah.
don't mind some
So
price action, some
most
good
of
price
my
action.
for all my like any company that I ever work on, like my main ethos is we have to solve the user journey, the job to be done better than
Hmm.
anybody else.
Hmm.
Yeah, I know for a fact, like I sleep better at night knowing that if my product, so for example, the economics makes sense, the tokenomics makes sense, the product utility makes sense, product
Yeah.
usability works, and we talk to customers and say, hey, have you guys used Renter? Have you guys used IoT? Have you guys used BitTensor? Okay, how's your experience? Oh wow,
Hmm.
these are your problems. So oh wow, you found it. For example, if you find it complex or crummy. So like for example, a milkshake. There's a cool milkshake example actually. If you want to understand how to ask product questions, you can search up on YouTube. Milkshake Harvard milkshake example from Harvard. It
Okay.
explains to you how why does someone drink a milkshake? No, like do you know? Do you know why someone drinks a milkshake?
I used to drink them because I worked at an ice cream shop and I got them for free, but no, I
All
don't.
right. Yeah. So watch that video, and it'll give you a better understanding of how to ask questions, or even understand why people do things, and it's
Hmm.
all down to how's the job to be done, and that's how you create like revolutionary products, right? It's solving the job better than anybody else. That example will give you that, and it'll show you why OpenGPU solves the job better than anybody else.
Got it.
And
You must have watched my videos because I'm like customers got to use the product for me to be
yeah,
excited about the
I,
project
I
because
taught I
that's
taught entrepreneurship for PhDs and master students, and I specialize in product user experience, right? So that's why,
Mhm.
for me, we're just like really caring about what the customer. I don't care what the chart says, like whatever. Price is just price. That's sentiment of what people have perception of the product. But my job is to make sure that product is the best thing, the best, like it is the best alternative to solve this job than any other solution. And that's when you know you have a scalable business model.
Yeah, if you have a used product, if customers are using your product and they're having a good experience, everything
Exactly.
else everything else follows, right?
Yeah.
Like the business will be successful, investors will
Yeah.
will do well. Everything else falls in place. So
Yeah, and I
yeah,
think the community already has a sense of this, but they just don't maybe not know how to put it together. But watch that, yeah, watch the milkshake example, and you'll have a clearer example, and you'll understand why the orchestration there is so important, and why
Mhm.
the renting by basis is annoying. It's a pain point, right? And if you watch the videos, it's like crumbs in your pocket or makes your mouth dry, right? Whereas
Yeah,
the whereas the milkshake, cheap, tasty, heavy, makes you feel full, no mess. It has low viscosity, which means it takes about 30 minutes to complete. So it's not like you're finishing a Snickers bar in 2 minutes, which keeps you then unsatisfied. So it solves a lot of jobs for the body, actually. So if you solve the job, you know you're in the right spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything else falls in place for sure. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and have a great week, everybody.
Yes.
Hope hope you have a great week. Anyway, that's all I got.
All right. Take care.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.